Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're still doing front page review and now we are trying to get the story from Mariam on the...
I am back on the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, in conjunction with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, has approved 86 standards for the implementation of compressed natural gas project. The Director General and Chief Executive, Dr. Fawole Funke, he had announced this. He said that that the organization was working with the Presidential Initiative for CGN, which is PI-CNG, in developing the standards. He says CNG standards are necessary to herald the implementation of the CNG operations, which were promised by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu under the Renewed Hope agenda to provide an alternative fuel and cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal and full deregulation of petroleum sector. So this will help to mitigate the effects of all subsidy removal on Nigerians. This is something that we've been all clamoring for, to see that, nearly every day we have stories of, these CNG buses coming out and
there's so much excitement, I can't wait.
Being involved with it, so that's good.
Moving on to the Punch, major headline, minimum wage. Finance Minister submits templates to Tinubu today. Tripartite committee awaits templates to resume negotiations 2 p.m. on Thursday. Please, we don't want that kind of shutdown that happened Monday and Tuesday. Customs intercepts 3.9 billion pangolin scales in Kebbi. I'm sure Mariam has that story. $413,000 bribery. Ganduje to get charges through newspaper. 25 suspected killers of Oyo Varsity students arraigned. Crude oil supply shortage. Foreign investors may dump 20,000 modular refinery. Tinubu may suspend import duties on drugs and food. Senate okay 60 million naira for CNG Supreme Court justices. And we've taken the story on Heritage Bank and how NDIC goes after 700 billion loan defaulters. They've also listed 2.3 million depositors. Somebody's taking that story. Is the same story now? You've taken it already?
Yes.
All right, please, what's happening with the pangolin?
Pangolins, okay, as you know, is the most trafficked mammal on Earth today. And it's a protected species. To see that people are
Is it a mammal or a reptile?
It's a mammal. To see that it's still being trafficked so heavily. So the scales, this particular one, they said the Nigerian Customs Federation operations had intercepted these consignments, which the value is about 3.9 billion.
Wow.
Naira. Yes, yes, it is. But the customs are also saying that this sort of smuggling is also a way for criminals to launder money, to launder drug money, or also other sort of illegitimately earned money, and so they put it through things like this. But they were able to intercept this particular intercept this consignment, and one person was arrested due to robust intelligence that was shared between the service and the wildlife office, coupled with other determined efforts of operatives to carry out the arrest. So this is good news on this end, which is they were intercepted. But imagine all the animals that were killed in order to get all these skills.
I just Googled them and...
I did too, literally.
They said that their skills are believed to treat a variety of health conditions in traditional Chinese medicine and as a luxury food in Vietnam and China.
Do a book for us.
So that's why so it's the Chinese again that are coming.
And are we sure they're not
Chinese
here?
Have quite an appetite for different kind of
Yes.
What is strange to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have the one of our own, the judiciary. So the Senate is our own. The Senate on Wednesday passed a bill seeking an upward review of salaries, allowances, and other fringe benefits of judicial officers in the country. This followed the adoption of the report of the Committee of Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, presented by the chairman of the committee, Senator Mohammed. If the bill earlier passed by the House of Representatives is assented by the president, then all the salaries would really be increased incrementally. This will help in, the proposed legislation will help in making the judiciary independent, and they would ensure more integrity within the judiciary. He also said that the proposal was apt and timely, as the increase in remuneration of judicial officer holders is long overdue in the light of the present economy. So this is a good one for one, and I hope it passes.
This is the justice system that the NLC is quoting, that they are taking care of the justice system, but not taking care of the labor workers. YK, what story are you taking?
Yes, that no fewer than 25 suspected killers of the Prince Alex Timilehin, the 200-level student that was killed in Ajayi Crowther University. They've been arraigned, and 25 of them, and they have been remanded in prison for attempted murder. No, for murder, sorry. They allegedly beat the boy on the 24th of May, and he passed away. They beat him in their hostel. His hair was supposed to have been forcefully shaved by his assailants. And there are 25 of them, and I'm wondering, 25 people beat one person.
Yes.
Which kind of madness?
I had like a clean or somebody was dead. I didn't help. That was supposed to
So
help
I'm
out.
thinking also people who were standing and watching
Yeah, I
as
think
well may have
everybody.
rounded up.
You think so? Or maybe even the one doing the video as well.
I'm sure there's those that did not carry it, but they were cheering on.
Yeah.
You know,
He
so
said some of the counts found in the document partly read that the Oladoye, that you, Oladoye Femi, Ola, and Kehinde Ola Busui Martins, on the 24th of May 2024 at 9 p.m. at Ajayi Crowther University in the Oyo Magisterial District. This is long. So anyway, conspired with one another to commit felony with acceleration and death, and thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under sections.
Okay, so a really surprising story, because we were all looking forward to the fact that if we have more modular refineries, Dangote refinery, fuel importation, petrol importation will go down. But what we're finding out is that 20 foreign investors have dumped the idea of funding modular refineries in Nigeria. So the refineries had been, what they call them, international oil companies had reached out to funders to support them in building refineries within Nigeria, but they couldn't get guarantees that they will be able to get crude oil from Nigeria. So they said they reached out to the companies that will supply them crude oil to give them a guarantee that when the refinery is up and running, they will get crude oil from Nigeria, they'll be able to run the refineries and make their money back, and they couldn't get that guarantee. If we recollect, just a few days ago, we took the story that Dangote has already signed deals with the US to bring in crude oil from the US. With this quantum of crude oil that Nigeria is supplying, how we are doing ourselves inside this, I do not understand. But somehow,
You see,
the crude oil is now entering private people's pockets, or what?
we make our lives difficult.
Exactly.
Someone was talking about how in Gabon, they only have two bodies to, when you come with your investors, only two bodies to deal with before they can. In Nigeria, there are 22.
That's too much for anybody.
22 bodies before you can even start to...
Auntie, in Rwanda, I can set up my company in Rwanda right now from their website. And I only need to talk to, I'm not talking to anybody, just from their website as a foreigner with my national Nigerian passport, I'll set up my account. And even as I'm in Rwanda, I create my account in 24 hours, collect certificate, open accounts in that place in 24 hours. That's country ready for business.
Yes.
We're playing a lot of lip service. Moving on to Daily Sun. Major headline. Northern senators film over move to restrict cattle herders. And then we have another story. Court orders forfeiture of 11.1 billion naira property linked to the former CBN governor Emefiele. Labour to Akpabio, your statement undermines Nigerian democracy and they demand apology. Who has that story?
I have that story.
Okay.
Yep, Abio's story. So Labour is upset. Barely 24 hours after accusing the leadership of the Labour unions of treason for shutting down power grid during the two-day nationwide strike, Senate President Godswill Akpabio had come on the fire. During plenary on Tuesday, Akpabio specifically declared the shutdown of the national grid was more of economic sabotage than an agitation for a new minimum wage and also disruption of Hajj flights, because I heard the flights went back empty. He consequently declared such a situation would not be allowed to reoccur, as laws against it will be reflected in the new National Minimum Wage Act that would be enacted soon after submission of a bill to that effect by the executives. So after making that statement, the NLC body now came up and they said that his statement undermines the nation's democracy and called on him to issue an immediate apology. They also said that they urge patriotic members of the Senate and the House of Representatives to distance themselves from such remarks because that such remarks are damaging. That Nigerian workers have the constitutional right to strike in response to unfair labor practices, and NLC and TUC have exercised this right lawfully. They also...
A friend of mine was stuck for 2 days in the UK, and the accommodation was provided for just 1 day with twins because the connecting flight landed in the UK and was supposed to come to Nigeria, and the Nigerian airport was shut down. So we need to understand the impact of what we're doing. We're running out of time.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, they said the Hajj flights went back empty. Is that the ones that they paid 90 billion for?
Anti-any story,
exactly.
not comments.
I had to ask.
Exactly, yes.
Anyway, so the Federal High Court has ordered the interim forfeiture of properties valued at over 11 billion that has been linked to the former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. EFCC, the counsel to EFCC told the court that Emefiele was suspected to have purchased prime properties located in upscale areas of the FCT with proceeds from fraud through proxies. EFCC also identified 3 CBN officials, Obayemi Oluwaseun Teben, Akomoflafe Adebayo and Olubukumi Makinde as Emefiele's accomplices. They allegedly used their positions to secure retail and special allocations of foreign exchange for various companies in return for kickbacks. There's also in May, they said Justice Yelim Bogoro of the Federal High Court in Lagos had also granted EFCC prayers on interim forfeiture of over $4 million and over 830 million naira and other assets linked to Emefiele. Another judge, May 29th, had also ordered forfeiture of over $1 million linked to the former CBN. So they've been asked to put it out.
A number of people that became billionaires.
They've been asked to put it out, in the media for anyone to
Forex.
counter it. Yeah.
And that's why when Nigeria is where it is today, that we're now looking for money for businesses to be able to survive. When some people took advantage when we had a bit of surplus, according to them. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune, the last paper for today. Major headline, alleged money laundering. According to El Rufai kicks as Kaduna Assembly wants his government tried. We've taken that story. The U.S. government, the U.S. Congress member calls Biden for intervention in Binance executive Tidjara Gambrian's detention in Abuja. I know we've not taken this particular story, the fact that gunmen killed 5 in Fresh Plateau attack. Who has that story?
I do, and I'm just reading it as well. So they say 5 persons have been killed by herdsmen, suspected to be herdsmen in Kwara district of Basa local government area of Plateau State. They said that they woke up morning of Wednesday and in the middle of the night, criminal invaders attacked and killed 5 of our residents in cold blood. The criminal elements came in their numbers with heavy weaponry, also killed a pastor of the Assemblies of God Church, Pastor Dauda Daliop. They also killed Mrs. Chomi Dauda, Mrs. Chue Ajuz, Mr. Joshua Kusa, and Mrs. Rikwe Doro. So 2 persons also were seriously injured and are currently undergoing treatment at home. We have troops of Operation Safe Haven were instantly mobilized to avert further genocide, and also try and calm, the people who were there. So police are on it.
It says it came 2 days after some disgruntled elements ambushed some Wigwe youth coming on motorcycles. They were returning from the mines. We said that this thing has a lot to do with mining.
Mining and the foreign people that are mining. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we have a special guest that we'll talk to briefly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.